Chapter 17. Would you believe that I'm a doctor of miracles? Xiao Che was very clear on whether or not Xie Qingyue's profound strength was truly at the 10th level of the elementary profound realm. But of course, Xiao Yulong had no idea. Xie Qingyu had gotten truly angry and used at least 70% of her profound strength just now. Looking at the Xiao Yulong sprawled on the ground, she retracted her palm and then indifferently said, "It looks like young Master Xiao isn't that great at exchanging pointers, please go back." Laying on the ground, Xiao Yulong was stupefied. He originally believed that with his third level of the nascent profound realm's profound strength, taking advantage of Xie Qingyu would be as easy as reaching out with his hand. No matter what, he didn't think that upon meeting, he would end up on the ground with his entire body bruised and battered without even a chance to react. He stared with wide eyes in shock at the two bloody incisors that had fallen on the ground in front of him. Xiao Yulong immediately picked himself up, his face twitching. He knew how battered and exhausted he looked at the moment. It could be said that with his status as the Xiao clan's young master, he had never in his lifetime been in such a sorry state, and also in front of the woman that he admired and longed for the most. However, young Master Xiao was still young Master Xiao. He forcibly swallowed the blood in his mouth, his face revealing a what could be considered warm and elegant smile. Lady Xia's 10th level of the elementary profound realm strength is deserving of its reputation. Just then I was casually testing and had somewhat underestimated you. Then this time, Lady Xia must pay careful attention. With his two missing front teeth, Xiao Yulong's words were punctuated by the sound of whistling air. After speaking, he had already raised his hands and mobilized all of his profound strength. He naively believed that the reason he ended up at a disadvantage just now was solely because he carelessly acted, whereas Xie Qingyu had reacted ruthlessly with her entire strength. With his third level of the nascent profound realm's strength, how could he not handle Xie Qingyue's 10th level of the elementary profound realm? Xiao Yulong walked forward. 3 steps later, both hands simultaneously shot out, seeking to immediately wrap around Xie Qingyue's arm. His actions caused Xie Qingyu to loathe him even more. With all her patience exhausted, her right arm abruptly swung out, her red sleeve fluttering along. A gust of profound strength carrying a tinge of icy coldness swept across Xiao Yulong's face. This bit of profound strength didn't carry any trace of the frozen cloud arts, but still wasn't something that Xiao Yulong could handle. With a *peng* sound, Xiao Yulong's right cheek sank downwards and his entire body flew backwards. He spun in the air at least 7 or 8 times like a top before landing heavily outside the courtyard. 3 bloody teeth also were knocked free, 2 of them stabbing into Xiao Yulong's face. "The exchange of pointers is over, I won't see you out." Xie Qingyu didn't even glance at him, her fairy-like voice ice cold. Xiao Yulong's entire right face was a patch of red, as if dyed with blood. Right now, even if he was an idiot, he would still understand that his third level of the nascent profound realm's strength was, from the start, insufficient in front of Xie Qingyu. He held the throbbing part of his right face and gave Xie Qingyu a look dyed with a tinge of terror. Taking in a rough breath, he staggered away without another word. Xiao Yulong had reached the infirmary and was about to enter when he saw Xiao Che just then leaving. His left hand hold a medicinal pot and his right, a package. Upon seeing Xiao Yulong, Xiao Che promptly greeted him warmly. "Brother Yulong, why did you come here?" "Aya! Brother Yulong, your face, what happened?" Seeing Xiao Che, Xiao Yulong clenched his teeth, let out a cold snort, and immediately rushed into the infirmary. Shortly, the astonished sound of the Xiao clan's chief doctor, Xiao Jiyu, could be heard from inside. "Young master? Who would be so bold to do this kind of evil thing to you? No harm done. When I was at the rear mountains training, I wasn't careful and fell down." Xiao Yulong's voice was clearly riddled with pain. Of course he could not admit that his current state was because he was given a lesson while trying to take advantage of Xie Qingyu. "How is this no harm done? your cheekbone has been shattered to no small extent, you've lost 5 teeth, and another 3 have been snapped in half. None of these can be grown back. Xiao Che had not walked too far away. The voices that floated into his ear sent a cold chill up his spine. This woman, her actions were far too ruthless. The murdering heart powder that had killed him most likely came from Xiao Yulong. Originally, Xiao Che wanted to borrow Xie Qingyue's power to give him a little lesson, but how could this be considered a lesson? It was simply beating him half to death. Thinking about how he had used his grandfather as a shield to lead her by the hand early in the morning, Xiao Che couldn't help but break into a cold sweat. When he returned to his own courtyard, Xie Qingyu was calmly standing in the courtyard center. Seeing him return, she indifferently spoke. Xiao Yulong came over. "Ah, yes, I know. I just saw him at the infirmary." Xiao Che carefully took a look at Xie Qingyue's expression before prudently responding. Xie Qingyu no longer paid any attention to him. She lightly closed her eyes, and a layer of ice-cold air surrounded her body. "Qingyu, my wife, can I ask you a question?" Xiao Che opened his mouth to ask as he took a step forward. Xie Qingyu didn't react in the least. "What level is your profound strength really at?" To be able to force Xiao Yulong into such a sorry state, she should be at least at the 5th level of the nascent profound realm. To be at the 5th level of the nascent profound realm at the age of 16, if this was revealed, Floating Cloud City would truly explode. Xie Qingyu still did not react in the least. She didn't seem to have any intention of answering him. The ignored Xiao Che had a face full of gloom. Looking at Xie Qingyue's appearance, she should be silently practicing Frozen Cloud Immortal Palace's exclusive profound technique, the Frozen Cloud Arts. He no longer spoke. After placing the things in his hands on the ground, he leaned his body back, crossed his hands over his chest, and leisurely watched the peaceful Xie Qingyu. He watched until a quarter of an hour had passed. Xie Qingyu generally stayed in her room in the past. While training in the Frozen Cloud Arts, besides her master occasionally giving tips to her from the side, the rest of the time she was by herself, with absolutely no one else to bother her, not to mention a man who fixedly watched her with both eyes. Even though she was calmly standing there with her eyes closed, firmly concentrating on her training with the Frozen Cloud Art circulating through her body, she could still feel Xiao Che standing there watching her. Moreover, it was a constant stare, his gaze hardly ever left her for even a moment. That piercing gaze over and over again swept over every part of her body, giving her no way of completely calming her heart. Her entire body was uncomfortable. After all, she was still only a 16-year-old girl. To expect her heart to truly be like still water was simply asking for too much. After an entire quarter hour, Xiao Che was still standing there, his gaze firmly on her. Xiao Qingyu finally could not restrain herself and opened her beautiful eyes to glance at him, coldly saying, "What are you doing? Always staring at me?" "Waiting for you to voluntarily speak to me," Xiao Che innocently replied. Xie Qingyu had the urge to kill someone. Actually, I had something really important to talk to you about. But I was afraid of interrupting your training just now, so I had no choice but to wait. Xiao Che got up, his expression sincere. "What is it?" Xie Qingyu asked, strongly suppressing her anger. It's like this." Xiao Che's expression became serious. He took a few steps forward until he was standing in front of Xie Qingyu, then confidently said, "Early this morning, when I held your hand, don't do anything. I'm talking about serious business, serious business." Upon seeing Xie Qingyu suddenly reveal her killing intent, Xiao Che promptly retreated several steps, a wary expression appearing on his face. The miserable state Xiao Yulong had just been in provided a bloody lesson. Seeing that Xie Qingyu didn't, in fact, do anything, Xiao Che let out a small sigh of relief and continued, "When I held your hand, I felt your pulse in passing and found a big problem. An extremely big problem. His words didn't cause Xie Qingyue's gaze to waver even a bit. She didn't believe him from the start. Though she did feel him secretly measuring her pulse when he led her by the hand this morning. How could the man from the Xiao family that all of Floating Cloud City knew to be weak know anything about pulses? But Xiao Chei's following words nevertheless caused Xie Qingyu to tremble slightly. Isn't it true that you wake up every day at 3 in the morning? And not only that, but for the next half hour, your entire body would be ice cold, and your 4 limbs sore. Xie Qingyue's gaze wavered, unwittingly asking, "How do you know?" Xiao Chei continued to speak. Also, after training in the Floating Cloud secret arts, every time your profound strength makes a breakthrough, within the next 2 or 3 days, isn't it true that your entire body would be ice cold, your 4 limbs sore, and you'd be unable to eat or sleep peacefully? Xie Qingyue's gaze once again violently shook, because what Xiao Chei said was not wrong at all. Also, Xiao Chei's feet moved straight in the direction of the courtyard door. Not until half his body was outside the door did he say with a serious face, "Your last, period, wasn't it late by about 7 or 8 days?" Xie Qingyu. At %. Only when he didn't feel any killing intent from Xie Qingyu did Xiao Chei cautiously walk back from the courtyard door. "Do you believe me now? How do you know all of this?" Xie Qingyue's eyebrows drooped as she asked. "From your pulse. You can measure pulses? Would you believe me if I said I am a doctor of miracles?" Xiao Chei asked with a sincere face. "If you want to joke around, then go find your little aunt." Xie Qingyu glanced at him without expression. Of course, Xiao Chei didn't expect Xie Qingyu to believe him. It would be weirder if she actually believed him. These are all very serious symptoms. You don't want to know how to treat them? No need. Xie Qingyu let out a cold voice. The Frozen Cloud Arts is the Frozen Cloud Immortal Palace's exclusive profound technique, subtle yet inexhaustible. Once you start practicing the Frozen Cloud Arts, your entire body will have a hard time adjusting to the cold and will more or less show some negative side effects. In the Frozen Cloud Immortal Palace, this is common sense that's known to all the disciples. Even Master and Master's ancestors experienced this. Once the Frozen Cloud Arts have been trained to a certain extent, these negative side effects will disappear completely on their own. Yes, what you said isn't wrong. Xiao Chei nodded with deep consideration, then said with a chuckle, "But I also finally have some understanding of why Frozen Cloud Immortal Palace teaches to prohibit emotion and suppresses desires. Because even if the women of Frozen Cloud Immortal Palace had lovers, they still wouldn't be able to have children. If this were to be leaked, it would be very harmful to Frozen Cloud Immortal Palace's prestige. It's better to prohibit the disciples of Frozen Cloud Immortal Palace from seeing men and at the same time, protect this pretty disgraceful secret." Xie Qingyue's eyebrows suddenly slanted and her gaze abruptly became cold. For the first time, she was truly angry at Xiao Chei. "Shut up. I can tolerate your nonsense, but I won't allow you to insult my school. If you continue with even half a sentence more of that kind of talk, then I won't forgive you." Now, the previously cautious and cowering Xiao Chei had not even a hint of a fearful expression. Instead, he faintly smiled and said leisurely, "Whether or not I was wrong, I know very well. I can also tell you, the more powerful the profound strength, the longer the life expectancy. However, from your pulse, I am absolutely certain that the life expectancy of members of your Frozen Cloud Immortal Palace is 1/3 less than that of someone else with the same level of profound strength, if not more. Am I right or am I wrong?" Xiao Chei's words were like a clap of thunder next to Xie Qingyue's ears and caused her 2 beautiful pupils to contract for an instant.